My name is Letrasky Pressley, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. I grew up in South Gastonia. I moved to South Gastonia when I was in the 3rd grade. Went to South Gastonia Elementary School, went to Southwest from there, and then I went to Huss. I started playing basketball when I was 5 years old. Played at the Armory over by Sherwood Elementary School. So when I was little, my grandmother stayed in Hoffman Homes. And so I went to Sherwood for a couple years as well. So the Armory was close by to where we lived, so that's where I started playing basketball at. I fell in love with basketball because my dad played basketball. So I used to want to go with him everywhere he went, and the majority of the time it was to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to play. Of course, I was too little to play, and they were playing, so I was always in the way, you know, like kids are. But that's where I developed my love for the game of basketball. Like, I've been in love with basketball as far back as I can remember. I played 7th grade year. I made the junior high basketball team at Southwest. My coach there was Coach Johnson. Played all 3 years at Southwest, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. I was fortunate enough after that to come to Huss. I started out on the JV as a 10th grader, ended up getting moved up on the varsity as a 10th grader, and ever since then, I'll probably starting, I don't know, maybe my beginning of my 11th grade year. I got to play some as a 10th grader as well. So, interesting story about that. We were playing at this tournament at John C. Smith. And me and a couple of guys were sitting on the end of the bench. And one of the guys on the team was shooting free throws. I can't remember who it was now, but he missed a free throw. So we were all joking on the end of the bench, like, oh man, if I was in the game, I would have made that shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe he missed that. Like, if I was in, I would have made it. And Coach Blaylock heard us. So when the next play came around, the dude got in foul trouble or something. He called me from the end of the bench in the 10th grade and put me in the game in a one-on-one situation. So they fouled me and I had to shoot free throws. I got in the game, I made the first free throw. And then they call a timeout to try to ice me, that's what they call it. So they call a timeout, I came over, coach was like, you was scared, wouldn't you? I say, yep, you know what I'm saying, because he had heard me talking all that junk at the end of the bench, but I made it. So came back in for the second one. He was very confident in the huddle. He was like, we're gonna send Letrasky back in. He gonna make this second free throw. We're gonna go win this game. Came back in, I hit the second free throw. And from that moment forward, you know what I'm saying, I felt like I earned a little bit of his trust, so he started playing me. So I went from the end of the bench, from making those simple comments to playing because I hit those free throws. Coming out of high school, I was like, I'm playing on a top program, you know what I'm saying, around this area. Like, we good every year. Everybody on our team gets scholarships. So I just naturally assumed that, hey, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm on this team, we good, they getting scholarships, I'm gonna get a scholarship too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be out of Gastonia, I'm gonna go on and play basketball in college. Like, that's always been my dream from day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that's exactly what was gonna happen. But of course it didn't play out that way because it turns out I wasn't that good. So I graduated Huss in '95. I didn't have any schools to attend. So I knew that I wanted to get out of Gastonia. So I went and joined the military. I joined the Army. My thought process was, I didn't know how it worked, so I was like, I'm gonna get in the military, I'm gonna go to Fort Jackson, which is in South Carolina, I'm gonna do my 2 years because it was one of the last years that they had 2 years, I'm gonna get the GI Bill, and I'm gonna still be here with my family, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go to school after I get the GI Bill and try to walk on the team. So I get in, I got stationed in Germany. First of all, I did my basic training in Fort Knox in Kentucky. Then they shipped us off to Germany. So I was thinking this whole time that I was gonna be close to home, be with my family. Like, I thought you got to choose where you wanted to go. So when you get 6 options, they tell you name 6 places, 3 stateside, 3 overseas. And I picked Germany as one of my overseas stations because my uncle was stationed in Germany his whole career. And he's the one that named me. So I was like, I just picked Germany. I didn't know nothing about Germany except for what we had seen on TV. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't been out of the United States. As a matter of fact, my first flight was to Fort Knox, Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? That was my first flight that I had ever been on. So I got stationed in Germany, ended up going over there for 2 years. I got sent to Afghanistan the first year, the first tour of Afghanistan, and then I got sent to Bosnia as well. So most people can go their whole military career without getting deployed. I got deployed twice in 2 years. So my plan initially was immediately go try to get on to school somewhere and play basketball. Like, even though I was in the military, every chance I got, I was still playing basketball. I had the fortune of growing a couple of inches and putting on weight from the time that I left Husk to my time in the service. So I was a lot bigger, a lot more mature, you know, so I felt like I had a better chance of making a team. So when I left the military, I came back. Me and a couple guys that I played basketball with in high school, they were seniors now. So we drove around to several schools in the area. I got cut by every single team. Nobody wanted me. And our last stop on our trip was at Belmont Abbey, which is right up the street. And I ended up getting a full scholarship the last school that I went to. Oh, it was amazing because I'm an appreciative guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a loyal guy. So I try to devote myself to people who have my best interests at heart. And Dip gave me an opportunity that nobody else was willing to give me. Who was Dip? The head coach there at Belmont Abbey at the time, his name was Dip Mitras. So he's the one that gave me my chance. Like, he gave me my first opportunity to actually be on a college program, to be on a college team. And while I was there, I had the fortune of being there with a guy named Gannon Baker. Gannon Baker is one of the top trainers in the world now. And when he was at Belmont Abbey, he was making videos of just him training, you know what I'm saying? He started out with a Food Line contract, like they paid him like a couple $100 to make videos and stuff. He ended up getting signed by Adidas. They just gave him a couple $100. And he grew that from Belmont Abbey, us filming him in that gym, him doing individual workouts with us, to being one of the top trainers in the world. He's worked with Kobe, he worked with Kevin Durant, he worked with LeBron, he's worked with Chris Paul, Vince Carter, like anybody you can name, he's worked with them. All the trainers that are out now, they all came from him. So I had the fortune of playing with him while I was at Belmont Abbey. That's who taught me the game that I thought that I knew. So after graduation, of course, anybody that plays at that level has aspirations of playing professionally. You know, it's not a whole lot of opportunities coming from a Division II school. So people kind of look down on you because you came from a smaller school. Belmont Abbey was a smaller school, but we were ranked nationally my junior and senior year. So I felt like I had a good opportunity to build upon that. So I went to many camps, you know what I'm saying, trying to get on overseas professionally. And I had a couple opportunities where I did that. I went and played overseas, but it's just one of those things coming from a smaller school, like they always looking for the bigger fish. So I moved around a lot. I played in a lot of different countries. And it was a blessing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I ended up stopped playing because I had a family at the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had my son, and so I had to make a decision, whereas I wasn't a top player. I wasn't getting paid crazy money to play, although it was a game that I loved and that I had devoted my life to. I had to choose my family, you know what I'm saying, and coming back and working and trying to start a career to take care of my family because basketball wasn't doing that. And that's what I did, you know what I'm saying? So I left the game, came back, started working, taking care of my family, but I never stopped playing. My dad always told me that I was never gonna get rich or be wealthy by working for somebody else, because that's what he believed, you know what I'm saying? He always instilled in me to be my own man, to stand up on my own, make a way for myself. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And my dad encouraged that a lot, you know what I'm saying, because he did a lot on his own. He built a lot of things with his own two hands, as well as starting his own business and doing those things. So it was always in me to do that. So when I finally got myself in a position to do that, I've tried many different things, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had many different jobs, many different careers until I got to a point to where I was able to start my own business. So I started my own business, a trucking business in 2018. I didn't know anything about trucking when I got into it. You know, a guy said something to me about it. I started researching it. After I did my research, I realized that just in Charlotte alone, at that time in 2018, over 300,000 trucking jobs was going undone just in the Charlotte area. So once I realized that, you know, I segued my way into getting my own truck and starting out on my own. I started out with 126-foot box truck. I went from 126-foot box truck to 10 18-wheelers within 2 years. And then COVID hit, and you know, that was a huge toll on the trucking industry. So that kind of derailed my trucking business for the most part. I still dibble and dabble in it a little bit, but since then we opened up a group home because I wanted to give back to the kids. Like, kids has always been my passion. I don't like the situations that most kids get put in or they get labeled because it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes kids just don't have good structure at home. They don't have good parents, or sometimes the parents just can't do enough. You know what I'm saying? Every parent is not a good parent. I realized that through the years that I've been living, you know what I'm saying? So when I find kids like that just don't have the proper help, you know what I'm saying, the proper mental health, teaching them that they can still be successful despite the things that they come from, it's a soft spot for me. So I always try to help those kids that are in need. So I worked in mental health like my whole college career. Basically, you know what I'm saying, I started working in mental health in 2002 maybe. And so I spent 20 years working in mental health. I worked for BHC in Charlotte. Me and my dad opened up a group home for kids. Like, we had several kids that we had go to HUS, as a matter of fact. So I've always tried to give back in that way, trying to save the kids that I could save. And in that area, you know, it's hard to pull a kid out of something when he felt like he's never had anything, or when that kid was betrayed by the people that loved them the most. You know what I'm saying? Because in that field, it's a lot of parents that did something to kids, or family members that did something to kids. So it's hard to pull those kids back from those deep, dark corners. So that's where my passion lies, is just, you know what I'm saying, trying to save the ones that I can save. So I've always wanted to coach basketball. That was something that I knew that I always wanted to do. It maybe wasn't something that I could start right away that was going to pay my bills. So I was fortunate enough to have a business that sustained me while I was able to do what I was passionate about. I started my coaching career at Gastonia. It was the first official coaching job that I had as an assistant coach over there. I also had the fortune of meeting and being back with Troy Phillips, who's the head coach now here at HUS. He was the girls coach over there. So it was an easy transition for me, you know what I'm saying, being around people that I was familiar with. Trent was the head coach. Trent McAllister was the head coach at Gastonia at the time when I came. Very appreciative of the opportunity that he gave me. He allowed me to, you know what I'm saying, teach the kids what I had learned, you know, try to make them a better player. So I was very happy being back in that area of my life. So when I left from Gastonia, I was gone for probably maybe like a year or two. And Troy reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to come coach at HUS. And, you know, I did want to come and coach at HUS. Like, it wasn't the point of me not wanting to be here. It was just the timing of everything, you know what I'm saying, that was going on in my life at the moment. It was a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I had to make a lot happen for me to be here now. But I'm extremely happy, you know what I'm saying, to be back here at the school. This is where I was born at, you know what I'm saying? Like, this gym made me the player that I am today, or the player that I was, not the player I am today. But I'm extremely happy to be back here, man, and definitely blessed. And I'm trying to teach these kids that they can go on from here. They can be what they want to be. They can do what they want to do. And I'm a firm believer that it only takes one person in your corner that believes in you to change your life. And I don't think that it takes, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have everybody like a perfect family like most people think to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in an area where a lot of people are successful that just have a mom. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that we have single dad homes, which is what I raised my son in. I was a single parent. But I'm trying to show these kids that as long as you have one person that believes in you, that truly believes in you, that truly has your back, then you can make it. So if I were to give anyone advice about life, like, we all are one thing away from breaking from being like okay. Like, mental health is very important. And like I said, we are all one incident away. Like, I've seen it a million times in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know it was possible until I was working there, where I could see it. You know what I'm saying? These are people that had regular careers, that had families, that had all these things, and life is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it folds people every day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look down on people that have drinking problems or people that have drug addictions, that have because you have to be strong to survive. And being in this gym, being coached by the guy that I was coached with, playing with the people that I played with, definitely 100% prepared me for life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it 100% did. It taught me how to fight. It taught me how to be a part of a team. You know what I'm saying? So those things are important in life, because at some point, most of these guys in here are going to start their own team, which is their family. You know what I'm saying? So you got to fight every day. You don't want to come to practice every day. You don't want to come in a cold gym. You don't want to come run. You don't want to do all those things every day. But if you love what you're doing, then it's not really like work. So that's what I'm trying to teach these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to explain to them the importance of being a part of a team. Sacrifice. Sometimes you have to sacrifice things that you want to do for being a part of the team. And so that's just lessons. One of the lessons that I've learned being a part of basketball. Like, it's so many lessons that I've learned being on this court, you know, and it's very important to me that I give that back to these kids that might not have that at home, because they all don't have perfect home lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking away from anybody's parents. I don't know most of these kids' situations, but I do know a lot of the kids that when I grew up, it was a similar situation. So it's important that these kids have people that they can look up to, that they can see, that's here every day for them, that show up every day for them, because they got other people in their life that don't.
Let me ask you one last question. And can you still dunk?
Absolutely.
Bullshit.
Absolutely.
You can still dunk completely.
Absolutely, I can still dunk. I made a bet with my friends, everybody that I played with that didn't believe me, that I was gonna be able to dunk until I was 50 years old. I got two more years of dunking at 50, then I'm done. But I absolutely can still dunk.
Just regular dunk, ain't nothing.
No, yeah, just a regular dunk. I can still dunk. I'm gonna keep my word. That's one thing that I'm big on. My dad told me that in life, when you don't have anything else, you gotta have your word. And as a man, that's important. So that's something else that I'm gonna teach these kids. Like, always do what you say you're gonna do. And I told them I was gonna be able to dunk at 50. And when 50 come, hopefully I'll still be in this gym and we gonna record it. And I will be dunking at 50, and that's gonna be it.